Travis, we got to talk about it.
I don't think we have to, but go ahead.
Okay.
Say know your partner, know who you're doing it for, and do it for the right reasons, baby. Everything else would be beautiful.
When it comes to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, the headlines just keep stacking like Jenga blocks. First up, their Rhode Island mansion might soon swap fireworks for wedding vows, with whispers it's the chosen spot for their summer 2026 nuptials. And then, things get boozy in Kansas City as Kelce, Mahomes, Taylor, and Brittany score signature cocktails at their brand new steakhouse hotspot. Next, a former Harvard brainiac compares Taylor to Amazon, saying both thrive on chaos like it's their morning coffee. And speaking of power, their engagement photos handed Ralph Lauren a cool $6.8 million boost in days. Then came Taylor's sly Super Bowl halftime Easter eggs, sending Swifties spiraling.
Yeah. I know every halftime show from the Super Bowl. The sourdough's taken over my life in a huge way. I'm really talking about bread 60% of the time now.
I tried to.
Thank you for screaming for like 47 seconds for me. That was so nice.
And finally, the couple skipped the MTV VMAs after parties, keeping things low-key. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce may have gone full PDA with that flashy Instagram engagement post, her rocking a striped gown, him showing off that rock he slipped on her finger. But apparently, that's where the public part stops. Word on the street is their actual wedding is going to be way more low-key. Think private affair, not Coachella headliner. Insiders are saying they don't want a spectacle, which, considering these two could crash the internet just by sneezing together, is probably a smart move. Now don't get it twisted, Taylor is absolutely flaunting that diamond like she just leveled up in Mario Kart, and who could blame her? It's an old mine-cut sparkler that fits right in with her "I'm timeless and iconic" vibe. But as for the big day, sources swear the guest list will be trimmed down to family and their closest crew. Sorry, random neighbor from Nashville, you're not getting a plate of wedding cake. And of course, everyone's already playing wedding detective. The hot gossip? Rhode Island, baby. Yup, her beloved mansion in Watch Hill, the same spot where she used to throw those epic 4th of July parties with Gigi, Blake, Selena, and half of Hollywood, might just double as the I Do zone. The place is basically a seaside castle, and she's even been renovating it, adding another suite and upgrading it like it's about to host the Super Bowl of weddings. Coincidence? Probably not. Also, the timing is a whole thing. Apparently, Taylor's not looking to drag this out until the next U.S. election cycle. Sources say she's in a hurry to tie the knot by summer 2026 because kids are on her mind. Imagine mini Sweltzes running around. That's basically America's royal family right there. And speaking of America's royal family in the making, their inner circle is already serving up another kind of celebration, this time with booze. Yup, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes decided football, fame, and Super Bowl rings weren't enough. Now they're jumping into the steak and cocktail game with their swanky new spot, 1587 Prime, in Kansas City. And let's just say, this isn't your average grab a Bud Light and a burger joint. No. These guys went full VIP, crafting signature cocktails dedicated not just to themselves, but also to their leading ladies. Because nothing screams power couple like getting your own drink on the menu. Mahomes is bringing the tropical vibes with Showtime, a rum-heavy concoction that basically sounds like a beach vacation in a glass, with a dash of Coors Light syrup thrown in for the Chiefs' flair. Brittany, being the queen of her own kingdom, scored the Queen Bee, which is basically Grey Goose dressed up with honey, lychee, and lemon. Fancy enough that you almost expect it to arrive with its own tiara. Kelce, naturally, went big and bold with the Big Yeti. Think bourbon, rye, and enough bitters to knock the socks off even the toughest defensive lineman. And Taylor? Well, she's got The Alchemy, a fruity meets fancy vodka mix that sounds like a potion you'd sip while plotting your next number. One album. Strawberries, cranberries, even oolong tea, it's less light beer at the tailgate, and more, this belongs on a yacht. And they didn't stop at drinks. Insiders say the menu is stacked with player-themed meals, and yes, there's even a big red burger for Coach Andy Reid. Because honestly, can you even have a Chiefs-themed restaurant without paying tribute to the man who basically lives in a headset and Hawaiian shirt combo? The grand opening hits on September 17th, aka Mahomes' big 3-0 birthday, which feels like the most on-brand timing ever. No word on whether he'll actually cut his cake at the restaurant, since the team's got New York Giants business right after. And while Kansas City is getting cocktails named after Taylor, the business world is out here naming her as the blueprint for, well, surviving chaos like a boss. A former Harvard strategist is basically saying Taylor and Amazon are cut from the same cloth. Both are anti-fragile. Translation? When life throws curveballs, instead of ducking, they grab a bat, swing, and hit a grand slam. Most people want stability. Taylor? She thrives in a tornado. Amazon? It sells you the umbrella, the poncho, and the book on how to enjoy the rain. Think about it. Back in 2014, when Spotify was the hot new kid, Taylor yanked her whole catalog because she thought artists weren't being paid fairly. Industry folks clutched their pearls, assuming she'd committed career suicide. Instead, fans treated her songs like a luxury handbag drop, harder to get, more desirable. By the time she returned, her streams doubled. Talk about turning FOMO into ROI. Then there's the Kanye saga. The more he tried to drag her, the more her fan base turned into an army with glow sticks and friendship bracelets. Every diss just leveled her up like a video game character. And the kicker? She didn't even have to throw the first punch. Chaos came knocking and she just flipped it into free marketing. Fast forward to 2020. The world shut down. Artists were scrambling, and Taylor casually dropped 2 surprise albums like she was delivering pizza. No tours, no promos, just vibes, and billions in streams. That's what happens when you own your entire playbook. She doesn't just make music, she controls the stage, the set list, and the merch booth. Oh, and let's not forget the re-recordings. Critics thought redoing her old albums would be a waste of time, like repainting a mansion that's already perfect. Instead, Swifties turned it into a cultural movement. Those Taylor's version records became collector's items, while the original owners looked like they'd bet on Blockbuster in 2008. And just when you thought Taylor was only out here breaking streaming records and flipping drama into dollar signs, she went and casually handed Ralph Lauren a $6.8 million love letter in the form of engagement photos. Yup, insiders say within 48 hours of that striped dress and cable knit sweater making their Instagram debut, Ralph Lauren's media value skyrocketed like Dogecoin on a good meme day. Free marketing? More like the biggest coupon code the brand never had to send. Fans didn't even blink before stampeding to grab Taylor's $398 striped silk blend dress like it was the last PS5 on Black Friday. The poor thing sold out faster than you can say add to cart. Meanwhile, Travis is over there in his $138 sweater looking like a walking Ralph Lauren catalog, and suddenly every guy who owns a football is thinking, maybe this polo will get me a pop star too. The kicker? Those photos alone made up 10% of Ralph Lauren's entire media impact for the month. 10%. From just 2 people standing around being disgustingly photogenic. Imagine being a billion-dollar fashion house and realizing your entire August highlight reel was basically brought to you by Taylor's waistline and Travis's biceps. For the uninitiated, that whole earned media value thing basically means if Ralph Lauren had tried to buy the same level of clout through ads, they'd have been out $6.8 million. Instead, they just sat back, poured a glass of champagne, and let Taylor and Travis do the heavy lifting. Talk about influencer marketing on steroids. And while Ralph Lauren was busy cashing in on Taylor's striped dress and Travis's cozy sweater, Swifties were already on detective duty again, this time convinced she's plotting to take over the Super Bowl stage. The latest case file dropped on Travis's own podcast, where Taylor sprinkled so many breadcrumbs it felt like she was feeding ducks at the park. She casually mentioned how she's watched every halftime show ever, which is basically Swiftie code for, yeah, I've been rehearsing in my head since Janet and JT.
Yeah. I know every halftime show from the Super Bowls, but I didn't watch the sports.
Then came the sourdough bit. She joked she thinks about it 60% of the time, and fans instantly linked it to the 60th Super Bowl, hosted by the San Francisco 49ers, whose mascot just so happens to be Sourdough Sam. Coincidence? Not when you're Taylor Swift, queen of Easter eggs.
The sourdough's taken over my life in a huge way. I'm really talking about bread 60% of the time now. It's become a huge factor.
And of course, numbers had to make an appearance. She randomly shouted 47 seconds, which hardcore fans tied to Levi's Stadium, the 47th stop on her Eras tour. Stack that with her obsession with the number 13 and the fact that 2026 will be Travis's 13th NFL season, and suddenly the math looks less like coincidence and more like destiny.
That intro, Jason! Oh my God!
I've seen this before.
No, look, his soul has left his body.
Just breathe, Jason.
No, that was so good. Thank you.
I tried.
Thank you for screaming for like 47 seconds for me. That was so nice.
Oh, and let's not forget, Taylor once swore she wouldn't touch a halftime show until she owned her masters. Well, check that box because she finally got them back this year. And just as everyone was dissecting her halftime show Easter eggs like they were in a college seminar, Taylor and Travis were out here ghosting the entire MTV VMAs after-party scene. Yup, 0 champagne toasts, no awkward dance floor videos, nothing. And honestly, can you blame them? Taylor wasn't even at the actual awards, and the one category she was nominated for got snatched up by Lady Gaga. So why sit through a night of forced smiles and small talk when you can stay cozy and plan your album drop in peace? Meanwhile, Travis had a whole different time zone on his hands. The man was busy sweating it out in Sao Paulo, opening the Chiefs' season against the Chargers. And before Swifties start sharpening pitchforks, wondering why Taylor wasn't in the stands, sources say it was a whirlwind trip, and none of the players' partners tagged along. Translation: it wasn't a snub, it was just logistics. Once the game wrapped, Travis and the squad hopped straight back to Kansas City. No sightseeing, no samba, just touchdown and out. And now all eyes are on this weekend, because the Chiefs are lining up against the Eagles at Arrowhead. Cue the Kelce family soap opera potential. Taylor popping up in the stands for that game. Yeah, that's a ratings boost Fox dreams about. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.